Welcome to this edition of Head to Head. I'm your host, Cam McKinney, and this is episode number 383 of the podcast. And on this episode, I'm talking about the fact that this is the final MLB season for Dodgers pitcher Clayton Kershaw. That's right, Dodgers longtime lefty ace Clayton Kershaw has announced he will be retiring at season's end. Kershaw's got more than a strong case to be considered the best pitcher of his era. With a .222.96 record, his 222 wins are the second most in Dodgers franchise history, behind only the late great Don Sutton. Kershaw has a career ERA of 2.54. His 3,045 strikeouts are 20th most all-time. He's a three-time Cy Young Award winner and is one of the rare starting pitchers to win a league MVP. When I think about the LA Dodgers, the first name that comes to mind is Clayton Kershaw. And in modern baseball, it's so rare for a starting pitcher to be the face of a team. And that's exactly what Kershaw was for the Dodgers over the last nearly 2 decades. When you think about the Dodgers, you instantly think about Clayton Kershaw, and he's definitely in the conversation for the best starting pitcher in franchise history. And the fact that you can even make a case that he could possibly be better than Sandy Koufax is absolutely insane, and is such a testament to how good Clayton Kershaw has been for the LA Dodgers. I mean, at worst, he's the second best starting pitcher in franchise history. No offense to Don Sutton and Don Drysdale. I mean, Oral Hershiser was great as well, but he's not in the same conversation as Clayton Kershaw. And at this point, we all know what holds Clayton Kershaw back from being considered the greatest starting pitcher in baseball history is the fact that in the postseason, he's not been himself. He's got a career 13-13 record with a 4.49 ERA. That's not great. I've been critical of this in the past. I don't think Kershaw is the best starting pitcher of all time, but he's still an all-time great despite some postseason struggles. And I really don't know how big of a part Clayton Kershaw is going to play in the postseason run the Dodgers are about to enter, but I really do hope he gets to have a pivotal moment that makes you go, wow, this guy can come up big, because nobody thinks of Clayton Kershaw as a big game pitcher. That's one of the reasons it's hard for me to go, he's better than a guy like Randy Johnson, because Randy Johnson had 2 great postseasons in 1995 with the Seattle Mariners, and then in 2001 with the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he won co-World Series MVP with fellow pitcher Curt Schilling. I have to admit, there was a point in time where I thought Madison Bumgarner was a better pitcher than Clayton Kershaw because Madison Bumgarner was a great postseason pitcher. He was a World Series hero for the San Francisco Giants. That's how big the postseason can be for one player. Now, I no longer think that. Clayton Kershaw is a better overall pitcher than Madison Bumgarner. I'm no longer on that level. But really, what is missing from Kershaw's career is a great postseason moment. He doesn't need overall great postseason numbers. He just needs one significant moment, and I do hope it happens this upcoming postseason. Despite some postseason struggles, Kershaw is still clearly in the conversation for best starting pitcher of this era. And I think there are 2 others that could potentially be in that conversation, and they are Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer. And of those 3, I personally think the best is Justin Verlander. He's been dominant in the regular and postseason, but I can't begrudge anyone who thinks Clayton Kershaw is a better pitcher. Like Kershaw, Scherzer and Verlander are probably soon headed towards retirement, and when one of these legacy pitchers ends their career, there's always a conversation about how many more of them are we going to see. Like, the classic ace is starting to go away in baseball. Not many teams have pitchers like this. You hear this all the time from baseball fans. There are pitchers right now having great seasons, but is Paul Skeens going to win 200 regular season games? Is Tariq Skubal going to win 200 regular season games and have 3,000 strikeouts? I don't know the answer to that, because the starting pitcher is being asked to do less and less each MLB season, it seems. Don't get me wrong, those two pitchers might be as talented as Clayton Kershaw ever was, but are they going to have the longevity? Are they going to be in a great situation? Because let's face it, Clayton Kershaw was in a great spot being a member of the LA Dodgers, one of the best run MLB organizations in the history of the sport. Kershaw has also just done some things you're not going to see again. I mean, he has thrown 25 complete games. And what's kind of crazy about that is his last one he threw in 2017. I mean, that says something about how the position of starting pitcher has really changed over the years. Skubal has thrown one complete game this year. Paul Skeens threw one complete game this year. When Clayton Kershaw won NL MVP and the Cy Young in 2014, he threw 6 complete games. It's known by all baseball fans that Clayton Kershaw is not the same pitcher he used to be, but it's not like he's retiring because of his performance. He's still a good pitcher. This year he's 10-2 with a 3.52 ERA in 22 starts. Having said that, I do believe right now is the perfect moment for him to walk away from the team, because even though he's still the symbolic face of the franchise, he's no longer their best player. He's not their 5th best player. He's just there right now. I mean, they have Mookie Betts, they have Shohei Ohtani, they have Yamamoto, who I believe is their best starting pitcher right now. The last few years have not really been about the career of Clayton Kershaw. And yes, you could say that's a good thing, because the Dodgers have become the dominant team of the sport. They've made noise in the offseason. They've won the World Series now twice since 2020, but they no longer need Clayton Kershaw to be a relevant franchise. He's not their MVP. He's not their Cy Young Award contender. He's no longer that guy. He's still a very good starting pitcher. He could still pitch in the big leagues, clearly. I'm just not going to remember the Clayton Kershaw of the last few years. I'm going to remember that guy who was the best pitcher in the sport, who was making a case for himself being one of the all-time greats. I mean, I was talking about earlier how I want to see him have a great postseason moment. I don't even know if Dave Roberts is going to give Clayton Kershaw a postseason start. Clayton Kershaw really has nothing left to prove other than maybe having a great postseason moment. There's no pressure on Clayton Kershaw. So last week on this podcast, I talked about the fact that Mike Trout has not been to the postseason in the last 11 years. So that's one of the things that keeps me interested in the arc of Mike Trout. He's done everything in the sport, yet he hasn't made it to the playoffs. He hasn't played in the World Series. Clayton Kershaw has been given that chance. I mean, if he were closer to 300 wins, maybe he would stay a year or two and get there, but he's at 222 wins. He's not making 30 starts a year. He's not dominant enough to win 15 to 20 games during the regular season. He's not as durable as he used to be. Now is the right time to end his career with the Dodgers. And as we all know, in modern sports, it's becoming rarer and rarer for an athlete to spend an entire career with one team. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback in the NFL, didn't even finish his career a member of the New England Patriots. I do feel like baseball is a sport that cares about that sort of thing more than other sports. I mean, Derek Jeter finished out his career as a member of the Yankees, as it should be. And as it should be, Clayton Kershaw should end his career as a Dodger. What is the best moment of Clayton Kershaw's career? I think it has to be his opening day start in 2013, where he threw a 4-0 shutout and hit a home run during the game. I mean, that's how good Clayton Kershaw was back in the day. The Dodgers allowed him to throw a complete game shutout on opening day against the Dodgers' rivals, the San Francisco Giants. That was, of course, back when pitchers used to hit. Now there's the DH in both leagues. This is something I want to fixate on for a moment. No matter how you feel about Clayton Kershaw in his career, he is a big name for the sport, no matter if you're a fan of the Dodgers or not. And those are the kind of pitchers that are missing from the league right now. There are great starting pitchers, but they are not big on a national level. I mean, I care about the career of Clayton Kershaw. I don't follow the Dodgers every day, but I know the name Clayton Kershaw, and I know I'm different. I follow baseball more than a lot of people, but the average baseball fan knew the name Clayton Kershaw. You could debate how much, but this is a guy who had real star power. Sports fans across the world knew that he was childhood friends with quarterback Matthew Stafford, and I don't know how many pitchers are going to be as big as Clayton Kershaw has been. I do believe Paul Skeens is going to be. I don't know about Skubal. I don't know about Garrett Crochet. Those two to me scream of guys that are going to be beloved by fans of those teams. Like, I'm a fan of the Red Sox, so I think I'm going to love Garrett Crochet. If you're a fan of the Tigers, you're going to care about the career of Tariq Skubal. I don't know if he moves the needle on a national level the way that Clayton Kershaw did. Right? I mean, the reason that everyone talks about his postseason struggles is because if he were even half as good as he was during the regular season, during the playoffs, we would be talking about him as if he were the best starting pitcher of all time. These talk shows debated whether or not Clayton Kershaw was great because of his postseason struggles. I talked about how I believe that Justin Verlander is a better pitcher than Clayton Kershaw. I'll give it to Kershaw. He is a bigger name than Verlander. I think more people were invested in the career of Clayton Kershaw than they were of Justin Verlander. And I'm sure playing with the Dodgers had a lot to factor into that. He was playing for a marquee franchise. And again, one of the reasons we talked about Clayton Kershaw in the postseason is because the Dodgers were always making the playoffs. So it was always something relevant to talk about whether or not Clayton Kershaw would finally come up big during the playoffs. People used to say the exact same thing about Alex Rodriguez. Oh, he puts up these enormous stats during the regular season only to come up small during the playoffs. And yes, those were negative conversations, but in a way it proved how relevant those two athletes were. Like last year with Aaron Judge, when he wasn't having the best postseason for the Yankees, people were talking about him like that because they view him as the best player in the sport. I know a lot of people are having that MVP conversation debate this week between Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. Here's the real difference. If Cal Raleigh has a terrible postseason, nobody is going to hold that against him. But if Aaron Judge has a bad postseason, everyone is going to be talking about it for the next year. The expectations are just way higher for the players that we believe are the best individuals of the sport. So yeah, in the past, I really did simplify it and say this guy, Madison Bumgarner, came out of nowhere, became a postseason hero, and I took that to mean that he's a better player than Clayton Kershaw. Looking back at that, I really do believe I was insane for that take. I still believe that Clayton Kershaw should have been a lot better than he's been during the playoffs, but I don't think his lack of postseason success should take anything away from the fact that he's been one of the best regular season pitchers pitchers the sport has ever seen. I think it's fair to say that Clayton Kershaw isn't a big game pitcher, but he is still an ace. He was the ace for the Dodgers for a very long time. I know most sports fans do not share these sentiments that it's all about the playoffs, but if Clayton Kershaw or Aaron Judge were as good as they are during the regular season, during the playoffs, then the playoffs wouldn't be as exciting. It is a pressure cooking situation. They're not supposed to be as dominant as they were during the regular season. If Aaron Judge had a postseason where he hit 12 home runs, I would kind of be bored by him. One of the best things about the Yankees' run to the World Series last year was the unexpected hero of it was Giancarlo Stanton. The fact that he is one of the best postseason players ever in Yankees franchise history. I love that about the postseason, is it's filled with unexpected heroes. David Freese won a World Series MVP. Albert Pujols did not. In closing, I just got swept up in the whole narrative of Clayton Kershaw is a bad pitcher because he wasn't a great postseason pitcher, and I'm sorry for that because I kind of forgot how great of a pitcher Clayton Kershaw actually is, and I'm glad he's now won the World Series twice. Even if he didn't play a huge part in both of those victories, I'm glad he's a World Series champ now. That is something we really do like to do with athletes. We like to find the one thing that's missing from their game and say, well, that's why they're not the greatest of all time. Even if Clayton Kershaw had an 8-0 postseason record, there would still be people saying he's not the best starting pitcher ever. I'm a fan of baseball who says it's just about getting to the playoffs and then anything can happen, and the Dodgers were never going to go near the playoffs if they had not had Clayton Kershaw for all of those years. The only active starting pitchers with over 200 wins are the aforementioned Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander, and Max Scherzer. Who is the next guy that's going to get to 200 wins? Garrett Cole is going to be coming back next season off of an injury. Is he going to be able to hit that 200 win marker? And if he doesn't, will he be thought of as a Hall of Fame starting pitcher? I look at Garrett Cole and I go, wow, he's kind of an ace pitcher. He won a Cy Young with the New York Yankees. He's been a very good contract for the Yankees. I kind of look at Garrett Cole and think he should be viewed as a future Hall of Famer. I don't think we can look at pitchers anymore and say, well, you didn't get to 200 wins, you can't be in the Hall of Fame. Because look at all these guys they've given Cy Youngs to. Chris Sale, Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole. Those guys might not get to 200 wins, but you already said they're some of the best pitchers ever. Clayton Kershaw has all of those stats that you need to go, yeah, he's a no-brainer, no doubt, Hall of Fame pitcher. But these other guys don't. You have to look beyond the wins to view them as Hall of Famers. A classic ace who gets over 200 wins is a dying breed, and Kershaw, Verlander, and Scherzer are the last of them in my mind. Garrett Cole is really the only one who has a legitimate chance to maybe get to over 200 wins. I just think it's crazy that they don't care about wins when it comes to naming the Cy Young Award winner, but then they care about wins when it comes to making the Baseball Hall of Fame. They can't make up their minds. They're going to have to come to the realization that there are no longer going to be guys like Clayton Kershaw who pitch nearly 2 decades, get over 200 wins, hit that 3,000 strikeout marker, have a 2.54 ERA, and stay with one team throughout their entire career. Those guys barely existed before, and they're not likely to exist after he leaves the sport behind. Jacob deGrom is the Hall of Fame case I'm waiting to see, because he's likely not going to hit 150 wins, yet he has 2 Cy Young awards. I view the Clayton Kershaw retirement as the end of an era. You're not going to see a pitcher like this again, especially one where the team is synonymous with the player. When I think about the LA Dodgers, I think about the name Clayton Kershaw. It's not like that with most ace pitchers. Now, the Dodgers didn't have the dominant regular season we all thought they were going to. They didn't win over 100 games, but they still have a decent chance to win the World Series once again, and I hope if they do, Clayton Kershaw plays a part in that. I just think it would be a great send-off for the pitcher to finally have a great pivotal postseason moment. Is the one thing missing from his already great Hall of Fame resume. Either way, he's great no matter what happens. He's one of the all-time great members of the LA Dodgers. Thanks for listening to this edition of Head to Head. I'm Cam McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Monday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so please rate, review, and subscribe.